The Baltimore Orioles' quiet offseason marks a step in the wrong direction for a team that has spent the last 2 seasons building towards contention. After winning over 90 games and making the playoffs in back-to-back years, many believed 2024 would be the time for the Orioles to make significant moves to elevate their roster and truly compete. Unfortunately, as the offseason progresses, it's becoming clear that the Orioles are failing to seize this moment. For years, the Orioles followed a familiar model: build competitive teams with star players like Manny Machado and Nick Markakis, then trade them away as they approached free agency in order to maintain a low payroll. This approach was similar to that of other small market teams like the Rays and Pirates. However, after a brutal rebuilding period, the Orioles seemed poised to break free from that cycle, stockpiling young talent such as Adley, Rutschman, Jackson Holliday, Gunnar, Henderson, and others. The Orioles benefited from the era before the 2022 draft lottery, which rewarded teams for finishing with the worst records. This allowed Baltimore to acquire high-impact players in the draft, giving them a window of opportunity for sustained success. Unfortunately, their current offseason moves suggest they're reverting to old habits, with a roster that is still in need of key additions. Despite having a new ownership group in place, led by David Rubenstein, who vowed to invest in the team, the Orioles have been surprisingly passive in free agency. The majority of their young talent remains pre-arbitration, which makes this the perfect time for the organization to make a big splash in free agency. Yet, with many top-tier free agents already off the board, Baltimore has made minimal moves, most notably signing 35-year-old Tomoyuki Sugano from Japan, who, while potentially useful, is not the impact starter the team desperately needs. The Orioles' biggest need remains top-tier starting pitching. They acquired Corbin Burnes in February, but after Burnes left for the Diamondbacks on a massive deal, the Orioles missed out on other frontline starters like Blake Snell, Max Fried, and Garrett Crochet, who was traded to division rival Boston. In response, they've signed only Sugano and outfielder Tyler O'Neill, a solid addition but not enough to push them over the top. One major issue for Baltimore has been their reluctance to trade some of their top prospects, such as Heston Kjerstad and Samuel Basallo, for proven major leaguers. While the team has made some moves, such as trading Connor Norby and Kyle Stowers for Trevor Rogers, these trades haven't paid off. And the Orioles' limited activity at the trade deadline last year contributed to their early playoff exit. The Orioles find themselves at a crossroads. They're no longer the underdogs in the American League, but rather a young, talented team that needs to make the right moves to stay competitive. However, without major additions to their roster, there's concern that their window for contention may close quickly. The Yankees and Red Sox are improving, and if the Orioles don't act soon, they could find themselves being passed by in their own division. The Orioles have a solid foundation, but they need to complement their homegrown talent with strategic moves to maintain their spot as contenders. If they fail to do so, they risk watching their hard-earned progress slip away as the rest of the league moves ahead.